Safety before insight. Why calm must come first. There is a reason you can read something wise, believe it with your whole heart, and still not be able to live it when you're upset. There is a reason you can understand your patterns, talk about them clearly, and still find yourself doing the same thing again when pressure hits. There is a reason you can have a spiritual practice, a strong faith, a good therapist, a journal full of insight, and yet, in the middle of a hard moment, you feel like you've forgotten everything you know. That reason is simple, and once you see it, it changes how you approach healing. The body has to feel safe before wisdom can land. Most people try to do it the other way around. They try to think their way into safety. They try to reason their way into calm. They try to figure it out while their system is in full alarm. And then they feel defeated when their mind won't cooperate, or when they keep looping, or when the same emotion keeps coming back. But a nervous system in alarm is not designed for reflection. It is designed for survival. In that state, your system is not trying to understand life more deeply. It is trying to protect you from what it thinks might hurt. This is not a character flaw. It is not a lack of spiritual maturity. It is biology. And it is also, in a deeper way, compassion. Your system wants to keep you alive. It wants to keep you connected. It wants to prevent rejection, harm, humiliation, abandonment, danger, or overwhelm, often based on what it learned earlier in life. And when it senses a threat, whether the threat is physical or emotional or social, it shifts into a mode that prioritizes fast action over deep understanding. That shift changes everything inside you. It changes how you perceive the world. It changes what you notice. It changes what you remember. It changes what you expect. It changes the meaning you assign to other people's words. It even changes what options you can imagine. In a state of activation, the mind narrows, the body tightens, the breath becomes shallow, the muscles brace, the heart rate increases or drops, the stomach churns or goes numb. You either feel too much or you feel nothing at all. And then often, you try to solve your way out of the discomfort by finding an answer. But here's the problem. When the system is activated, you don't seek answers the way a calm mind seeks answers. You seek answers the way a scared mind seeks escape. You are not asking, what is true? You are asking, how do I make this stop? That's why you can overthink for hours and still not feel better. That's why you can analyze your childhood and still feel anxious. That's why you can research spiritual teachings and still feel unsteady. You may be gathering information, but you're not digesting it. You're not integrating it. You're trying to outrun discomfort with understanding. And the nervous system doesn't interpret that as wisdom. It interprets it as urgency. And urgency is a signal of danger. This is where we need a very clean contrast, because it helps you recognize what's happening in real time. There are two very different inner modes, and they lead to very different outcomes. In the first mode, you are seeking answers while activated. In this mode, your system is braced. Your mind is scanning for certainty. You feel an impulse to fix, to resolve, to decide, to make something final. You may replay conversations, draft messages in your head, create arguments, imagine worst-case scenarios, or obsess over what someone thinks. You may feel a desperate need to get clarity, but what you really want is relief. In this mode, even spiritual practices can become fuel for pressure. You might force meditation, force forgiveness, force positive thinking, force surrender. You might demand that your body calm down so your mind can feel in control again. And because the body doesn't respond well to demands, the struggle intensifies. You end up feeling like you're failing at peace. In the second mode, you are listening after regulation. In this mode, your system is calmer, not perfect, not blissful, not free of emotion, but steady enough to stay present. The breath is fuller, the body feels more supported, the mind is wider. You can hold complexity without panicking. You can feel an emotion without turning it into a catastrophe. You can listen to your own inner life with curiosity instead of fear. And here is the key. In this mode, insight arrives more easily, not because you forced it, but because your system is no longer in emergency. Your wisdom has space to speak. This is why the line is true and why people remember it. Clarity is not forced. It arrives when the system feels safe enough to hear it. If you want a simple way to test this in your own life, think about a time you had a real insight. Not the kind you posted online, but the kind that actually changed you. It usually didn't come when you were frantic. It didn't come when you were in the middle of a panic spiral. It didn't come when you were trying to dominate your emotions. It often came later. It came after you slept. It came during a walk. It came in the shower. It came when you finally stopped gripping the situation so tightly. It came when you felt safe enough to let your mind soften and widen. That's not a coincidence. That's nervous system reality. Psychology has been catching up to this truth for a long time. Stephen Porges, in his work on polyvagal theory, explains that our sense of safety or danger shapes our ability to connect, to think clearly, and to feel resilient. When the nervous system perceives safety, the social and relational parts of us come online. We can make eye contact. We can hear tone. We can feel empathy. We can be flexible. But when the system perceives danger, we shift into more primitive survival responses. We become fight, flight, freeze, or collapse. We may become reactive or withdrawn. We may become controlling or numb. Not because we are bad people, but because the nervous system has changed gears. When you bring this into spirituality, something important happens. You stop treating calm as a nice extra and start recognizing it as a doorway. Calm is not just relaxation. Calm is capacity. Calm is the inner condition that allows deeper teachings to become real. Without some level of regulation, spiritual insight stays in the head. It becomes a concept you agree with, not a reality you can live from. That's why people can read about surrender and still be controlling, read about compassion and still be harsh, read about presence and still be scattered. The teachings are not wrong. The order of operations is safety first, then insight. This also helps you understand why certain spiritual practices sometimes don't work when you need them most. If you try to meditate while your system is highly activated, you may feel worse, not better. Your mind may race. Your body may feel unbearable. You may feel flooded by sensations you were avoiding all day. And then you may conclude that meditation doesn't help you. But the truth might be that your system needed orientation and support before it needed silence. In other words, the most spiritual thing you can do in a hard moment might not be to close your eyes and transcend. It might be to become more connected to your body and your environment in a gentle, practical way. It might be to give your nervous system signals of safety, the feel of your feet on the floor, the support of the chair beneath you, the steadiness of the ground, the rhythm of a slower exhale, the presence of something kind in your voice toward yourself. These are not less spiritual. These are the foundation that allows your spirituality to become embodied. Many traditions have always worked with this, even if they use different language. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not just a mental practice. It is a practice of returning to direct experience. You return to breath, to sensation, to sound, to contact. You train the mind not by forcing it to be calm, but by giving it a stable place to rest. In Christian contemplative practice, the repeated prayer or phrase, what some call a prayer of the heart, often functions like a soothing rhythm that settles the system. In yogic traditions, the attention to breath and posture is not just exercise, It is a way of shaping the inner state through the body. Across cultures, you find the same quiet understanding. The body is not a distraction from the sacred. The body is a doorway to the sacred. That is why safety before insight is not just a psychological idea. It is a spiritual principle. If God is present, the body must be allowed to be present too. If awakening is real, it must touch your nervous system, not just your philosophy. If love is true, it must reach the parts of you that learn to brace. Otherwise, spirituality becomes something you think about, not something you live. There is another gentle truth here that many people need to hear. The nervous system is not persuaded by your best intentions. It is trained by repeated experience. It learns through what happens again and again. It learns through what you do when you are upset. It learns through whether you abandon yourself or stay with yourself. It learns through whether you meet your fear with gentleness or with shame. It learns through whether you try to force calm or whether you offer safety. This is why healing is not just one big breakthrough. Healing is often a series of small moments where you respond differently. You don't have to become perfect. You don't have to erase every trigger. You don't have to fix your past. You simply have to create enough repeated experiences of safety that your system begins to trust the present. And that is what regulation really is. Regulation is not the absence of emotion. Regulation is the ability to stay connected to yourself while emotion moves through you. Regulation is the ability to breathe and feel and still remain here. Regulation is the ability to sense a wave coming and not treat it like a crisis. Regulation is the ability to be compassionate toward yourself, not because you are weak, but because you are human. When you learn this, you stop trying to pull wisdom down into an activated system. You stop trying to force clarity through fear. You stop trying to make decisions while flooded. You start building a new rhythm. First, you create safety. Then you listen. First, you settle the body. Then you ask the deeper question. First, you come home to the present. Then you interpret what the moment is saying. And this is where the chapter begins to turn from understanding into practice. Because once you accept that safety must come first, the next natural question is not philosophical. It's practical. It's the question that transforms your life from the inside out. So how do we create safety? Gently, spiritually, and practically. That's where we go next. We're going to move into a grounding practice that is not performative, not rigid, and not based on doing it right. It's designed for real moments. The moments where you feel a wave rising. The moments where you're tempted to spiral. The moments where the night feels long and your mind feels loud. The moments where you don't need a lecture. You need companionship.